I am a soul blazer. I change lives, I touch people's souls, and I open them up. I teach people how to be present and to be in their authentic soul. Do you guys know what imposters are? These untrained imposters, they reside on the stage of our brain, and they're trying to control us. But usually what happens is they make things worse. But the good news is that we can control them. We could take over and we could teach them to work for us instead of against us. Hi, I'm Lisahaisha. Welcome to the SoulBlazing Mastermind. Today, my guest is Faust Ruggiero, and I'm so excited to have him. We've been trying to get together for a couple of months now, and there's always been something happening. So let me tell you a little bit about who he is. He's a renowned therapist, clinical trainer, and a published author with over 40 years of experience in diverse counseling fields, from working with deaf children and prison inmates to substance abuse treatment and corporate leadership training. He is the developer of the Process Way of Life, a transformative counseling method designed to help individuals overcome emotional and behavioral changes. As the president of the Community Psychological Center in Pennsylvania, Faust has worked extensively with individuals, families, and first responders, veterans, and corporate leaders, providing innovative psychological and personal development programs. His expertise led him to train for the Pennsylvania Department of Health and consult for major national and international corporations. Faust is an award-winning author of the Fix Yourself Empowerment series, which includes the Fix Yourself Handbook, the Fix Your Anxiety Handbook, the Fix Your Depression Handbook, and the Fix Your Anger Handbook. His work has been featured on TV, radio, and podcasts worldwide, and he hosts the radio show Fix It with Faust. So with a career dedicated to helping people break through limitations and live more fulfilling lives, Faust continues to inspire, teach, and lead the way in personal and professional transformation. And I'm so excited to have him here. So welcome, Faust.
Lisa, thanks so much for inviting me. It took us a while to get here, but it's great to be spending some time with you.
Yes. So I just love what you do, and I'm so excited to learn more about you. So why don't we just start with what got you excited to even get into this type of work?
Well, it's one of those things where, you pick a profession or the profession picks you. And I think I was just born into this. From an early age, I was the kid that loved to hear people talk, loved to spend time with them, and here I am, over 4 decades later doing this as a professional and still loving it, and still love spending time with people. I'll be with you today, and I counseled this morning. I'll do one more interview and I'll counsel till 8 o'clock, and great day as far as I'm concerned.
That's wonderful. So I have a few questions. How does brutal honesty apply in all of the books you've written?
Since we've initially made contact, there's a new book that's out, the Fix Your Addiction Handbook, and the new one coming out in 2 months, the Fix Your Internal Language Handbook. And in all of them, the core that I talk about is slowing down your life enough to be able to think, and then to be working with facts, being honest with yourself. You're talking about the imposters and all that. You really can't deal with those or anything else in your life until you say, this is what it is, and I'm willing to face it. And that's the core of everything.
Yes, with the imposter work I do, it's the same with what you're doing. I broke it down into several different imposters, just like you broke your book down, because I think each, category of our life, from anxiety, depression, anger, addiction, whatever it is, it really does need to focus on that. You can't lump it all in because it gets overwhelming for people, is what I found. So
it does. And what it does is if you don't work with the facts, your emotions engage, then you get into agendas and insecurities and protection devices and survival things, which at least we think they're survival things. And, if you just work with the bare facts, you really get to know who you are.
Oh, absolutely. Can you explain to me the brain to body relationship as it applies to anxiety, depression, anger, and addiction?
All of those things, people will come in and in mental health, we've really kind of done this backwards. People come in and we say, what are your problems? And what are you thinking? And what are you feeling? And we try to work with that. What we really need to do is understand that the brain and the body are connected. They are one. There is no separate. It's not like we don't say our heart and the body. We don't say the brain is an organ. It's a thinking organ. It controls what we do. We need to go to the body first in anything we do. If you come and say to me, geez, I'm dealing with anxiety, my job is bothering me, my relationship's not so good. But in your body, maybe there's a thyroid issue or some other hormonal thing going on, and we don't address that. I can give you all the advice in the world, but we didn't go there first. So I always tell people, let's get the physical in order first. Not only what may be bothering you, but what you yourself may be doing to your body, like loading it up with caffeine or not getting enough sleep, those kinds of things.
Oh, absolutely. A friend of mine just passed and she was 61 and she kept saying she has headaches. And the doctor said, oh, it's psychosomatic. I don't see anything. Then she went to a couple of specialists and she had something similar to mad cow disease, which is really, really rare. And she, within a week, she was in a wheelchair, and within 2 weeks, she was in a coma, and 3 weeks, she was dead. She passed away. And this is not addressing little signals that have happened. She just kept saying, God, I'm so tired. I've got, foggy brain. But it might be COVID, long COVID, and not addressing it. So when they're in a therapist chair or a life coach's chair, you do have to have all the information, because one way won't work. It is truly mind, body, spirit alignment.
Absolutely. That's what I teach. I teach balance. You start physical, intellectual, emotional, spiritual. They're all there. If you're not willing to deal with those, you affect the balance. And when it comes to the body, I want people to also be able to read their body. You just talked about your friend. Something was there. She knew it.
Yeah.
Now it's about getting to the next level, to the physician, and say, this is what's going on. And because you tell me you can't find anything, doesn't tell me something's not there. It just says you couldn't find it. If you can't, you've got to go find someone who can.
Yeah, absolutely. And you can't give up if someone says, oh, it's just in your head. And maybe, but what can you do? And SoulBlazing, I have them meditate every day, walk barefoot on grass, do gratitude, have a cup of coffee or something, and your life will work. If you just balance, go, what am I doing for my body, my mind, my heart, my soul? Your life will change dramatically, because we tend to neglect ourselves so much or focus on just one area.
I just did an interview with someone. She's it's called biohacking, which I'm sure you know what it is. It's just getting your body and your mind healthy. And we were talking about the simple things you do. And we don't create a healthy body if you don't have your body healthy. You don't get the proper amounts of sleep. Do the vitamins if you need to. You just mentioned going out and walking barefoot on the grass. People don't understand why that's so important. Positive and negative charges. So I always say, let's do this in steps. Let's get your body healthy, because otherwise you're going to focus on your emotions and what you're thinking and what you can't seem to solve. Let's take one thing we know you can control. You can control your sleep. You can control what goes into your body. You can control exercise or whatever else it may be that you're dealing with. Let's start there, and then in an incremental fashion, we'll move you forward.
Yeah. In your books, you focus on fixing core emotional challenges, anxiety, depression, anger, addiction. But in your experience, which of these tends to be the root cause of most struggles? And what's the first step someone can take to break from it?
You know, it's interesting. I kind of going backwards in my writing here a little bit. The new book is the Fix Your Internal Language Handbook. That's one of the roots to everything that we do. As I was, I look back and say, I'm counseling all these years. I watch people come in with what they're thinking about, and we believe that we control what we think, but what we think often controls what we do, and then we get out of control. It's autopilot. We go over the same things over and over again. When I teach people how to stop that process, how to stop all that negative thinking, replace it with a positive thought, develop that positive thought, they come in and they say, what in the world was I doing? Well, you were putting all that angry, negative energy into your brain and trying to move past anything while you continue to do that. And that can be anything. I don't like my boss. Now I have a conversation in my head about him, or my spouse, or whatever it may be. That internal language, that's telling us what's going on.
So in a nutshell, how do you help them get a grasp on it and shift?
I just was talking with someone about this. I have one of the chapters I call the 3Ds. It's very simple. You know, the first thing is to stop the thought, right? And you're just going to redirect your thing. So you stop it, you redirect your thing, you develop it. So I'm thinking negative thoughts, operationally speaking here. I'm my boss, and he dominates my thinking, and I can't stand him. I will say to myself, I am not thinking about this anymore, and I'm quickly going to go to a new thought. I actually have them keep a list of positive thoughts. Go to your positive list, grab a thought, and now develop it. Keep thinking about it. I will guarantee you the negative thought will come back in because you trained your brain to go there. But you're going to retrain it to go in a different direction. Stop the thought, put a new thought in, and focus on that thought. Develop it. If you think about it, that's what you're doing with the negative energy. You know, people like you and I work with negative and positive energy. We know that people have trained their bodies and their minds to work with negative energy. All I'm saying is, the very fact that you trained your body and your mind to do that tells you both can learn. Well, if they learn that, they can learn something else, but you have to be willing to go through the training program. That's all.
Yeah, and it's not overnight. When I work with people on their thoughts and with, which imposter is dominating their life, they want to do it. And, I did it all day yesterday and it didn't work. Or I did it this week. I had a thought and I tried to write down gratitude and I'm not like fixed. It's like, it takes more than that. It took a lifetime, sometimes from the day you were born, depending on your parents that have been brainwashing you, or you're not good enough, or not being there for you, because we're all human. Parents are human too. And everyone has their stuff. And they had a past, they had parents. So whatever happened to them as children, it's generational trauma. So they cannot fix it in one day. Like you said, they have to continue to do it day after day after day.
Yeah, and there's a little piece of advice. I throw that out to people all the time. I say, if you are making the improvement of your life, that feeling better, a chore, if you say, I've got to do these things, you'll never do it. You have to ask yourself two questions. A, am I worthy of this? And B, am I willing to put in the time? Because in my life, I've been doing this all these years. I still work with this every day. And every now and then I hit a stumbling block. And sometimes it's 2 or 3 a day. It doesn't matter. Then I go over it. It's going to be something that you will employ in your life, all of your life. That's the key that makes it work. And those of us that do that, we do it not because, oh my God, we've got to change, I've got to get better, because I like this. When I get up every day, that's my empowerment right there. I get up, I tune into that, and I keep on going. When I get people to understand that and enjoy the process, everything changes. It's not rocket science, as we say.
Yeah, you nailed it. It's about learning to enjoy the process.
Absolutely.
If you're not used to working out every day, it's like, I don't want to work out. I hate working out. Change that thought is what you're saying.
Change it. And the thing about the brain, and it's very important for people to understand, is that the brain works to make everything automatic. The brain wants to learn and then stop applying all that energy to it because it's needed for other things. That's survival. It's just neurological survival. So you practice, you repeat, you learn. Then for me, I work out every day. I don't ever say, oh, I got to go work out. I don't even think about it. I know what time I go down to work out. I just simply go. I do the workout. And because of that, I love being down there. There is absolutely no intellectual resistance going on at all. Develop it. It works for me every day. And I use all those, that and so many other little things that I never question. As soon as, it's like going on a diet. I got to lose weight. And I love those cookies. Do I want one? No, I don't want. Yes, can I have one? Maybe I can just have one. You're going to kill yourself before you get there and then start eating the cookies. So I always say, stop thinking, just do it. And when they understand that concept and they stop worrying about how am I going to fit? I don't want to do this. I have to give this up. Once they stop doing that and they just do it, it works.
Yes, absolutely. What's one universal truth that you found in human behavior with all these years, 40 years or so of counseling people?
If you're talking universal truth, something that we all do, we look outside of ourselves for everything. There's nothing out there. We're in here. I don't care whether you're talking about God. I don't care whether you're talking about how you deal with your body, your thoughts, your emotions. The power is all inside us. And I've been telling people it's always been there. It's like your garage. It's always been there. You can pull the car in. Everything's wonderful. Then you load it up with all this garbage. And you say, well, gee, nothing works. And where's the car? Outside. And all the garbage is inside. Yes. And it's the way we think, When we went through the pandemic, people said, oh, my God, how are you going to do this? And I said, I'm just going to do it. I'm going to do it like I do everything else. The only thing that's changed is I can't go out much, or I'm not going to be in a restaurant, or I'm not going to, walk around without a mask. That's it. And and people lost their minds over toilet paper and all those things. It's a very simple premise. Everything is here. Stop looking for what you need outside of you. You're following, I don't know who.
Oh, absolutely. It's all internal. If you change your thoughts, you change your life. If you want a different reality, you got to change your personality of all your behaviors that you've been doing since you were a child. Then you could shift. I want to move this in a little different direction because I'm fascinated with you and how you created this process and all that. You had multiple sclerosis. Is that
no?
Okay. I thought you overcame it.
No, I never had any diseases. I'm pretty fortunate in my life. I've been healthy all the way through.
Oh, okay. I thought someone mentioned that about
you.
Okay.
No.
So I thought, oh, wow. Did you fix yourself from that? Okay. So
No.
Did you have any strong situation that you had to?
I was the kid, just like many other people growing up and wondering why, everything so intensely affected me. I didn't realize until my early 20s that I had anxiety, and I would still go do things, but, I was being very careful. I would wonder why the other kids in the neighborhood could just rush in and do something and it didn't bother them. And to me, it was a whole, big thing. It affected me. And my God, I thought I was weak and they were strong until I understood anxiety and started studying it. And then realized that my anxiety came from nothing more than overthinking everything in the world. And once I learned how to control that, then it became easy. But that's been the only thing I've had to deal with. But it was pretty intense.
It's very intense. It seems light. Oh, I just had anxiety, but that ruins your whole life.
It does.
Really have a clear thought of you in a positive light of, oh, I'm never going to be able to write that book. I'm never good enough. You always have this imposter, syndrome going on, which is what I'd love to talk to you about. I know you took the imposter quiz. Which imposter dominates your life?
Well, I kind of went back and forth with it. Gee, which one do I want to go with? Because, authentic self and loaded with faith and all those things, that's the core of me. There's no doubt about that. But then in my life, my life has been dedicated to be in service of other people. So, I guess when you look at it, the internal part of me is the faith and how that builds everything that becomes me. The outer part of me is extending myself to other people. And it's, I have a friend that's passing away now, and we're doing a lot to help them out. And someone said, well, that's really nice of you. And I never even thought about that. It was just, it's like the person doesn't think and goes down and works out. It's just who I am. You see someone that, it needs help, you do it. But when you have that imposter, as you call it, it goes beyond that. You don't see them and then help. You look for them. I'm looking for people to help. I'm looking to get out there and extend myself and let them know that I'm there for them. So it's a real big part of the way I live.
Oh, that's beautiful. What was your primary negative consequence of your dominant imposter, of your issue that has?
Oh, that's easy. And for all of us that do it at, level I like to do it at, we have the I'm going to fix the world syndrome, and then you realize that you are, before you get to the point that it's completely altruistic and it's for other people, you don't realize that a lot of it's for yourself. You feel good about doing it. So now you're helping people. I was helping people that didn't need help. I didn't stop and say, wait a minute, I'm not going to extend myself here. You can do this on your own. I'll help you learn how to do it on your own, but I'm not going to do it for you. So, that's a real negative that can come in for me and for them. Doesn't help me to do something for me. And it's certainly not helping them if they're not learning the process to better themselves in that part of their life. So, learning how to, put a boundary there. You need help. Yeah, I'm right there. You can do it on your own. Well, I think you need to take that on.
Yeah, I think once you get a grasp on your imposter, yours being the fixer, it could become a superpower like you just did. You could sit there and try to fix people, then they're going to just fail again and they're going to be dependent on you. Or you could say, here's the key. I'm going to teach you how to fish so you could be the boss of your life. It's empowering.
Right.
So now it's a superpower. It's not something that is sabotaging your life.
Right. And it becomes a superpower for me and for them. They get exposure. They can feel that. All right, I just overcame that. I wanted him to help me do that, but I didn't realize I had that in me. And it's not just about that. If I did that, geez, maybe I can do a lot of things. The superpower for me then for them is to be, I'm going to try everything. All of a sudden they went from someone that says, can you, to I will. Completely different.
Yes, absolutely. So I want to ask, what does it take for you to show up every day and be your best self?
The first thing, again, is my faith. I run everything from the spiritual part of me. And the other part is, it's a decision every day. I'm not one of these people that simply rolls out of bed and then says, okay, put the coffee on kind of thing. I get up and my first thing is, okay, Lord, let's go get them. And that's the way I deal with my world. And that may sound like it's all right, he has everything going so well. No, that's something that I started doing before things got a little better. I made a decision, or I said, you know what? I have two choices. I can get up and push my way through the world, or I can get up and attack my world and do it. And this is the key, to do it with love in my heart all the time. If you can do that, get up there and be assertive in your world, always do it with love in your heart. It changes life. And I don't look for a payoff. That's the other part of that. I do it because that's it. That is the payoff. I think when that becomes your payoff, you don't worry about small items like I got this and I really wanted that. And that's irrelevant. Those are fleeting. And then you have to replace them the next day. I want that to be my goal.
Wonderful. That's so beautiful. If everyone felt like that. What's one piece of advice that you could give people that you live by that could change their life? Or like, what's one statement that you live by, or something that your mantra?
If for me, it is that I have everything inside me. I know it's all there. I've had times, even in my worst times, where, I had to really push to get through something. And then when I look back, I say, I thought it was going to be so difficult. Once I was in it, I did just fine. And that's what I think people need to know. Once you're in it, you're going to be fine. Stop telling yourself you can't. Tell yourself, not you can, tell yourself, I will do this. A long time ago, a professor we had in graduate school had a girl try to pick up a pencil. Said, here, try to pick the pencil up off the desk. Of course, she goes and picks it up. You may have heard this example before. And it goes on for 3 or 4 times. Then she finally gets it. She says, there is no try, is there? No, he says, either you do it or you don't. And that's how I live my life. That's what I tell other people. Don't try. People that say I'm going to try it have already told you they're not going to do it. If you're going to do it, you say, I will, and then you follow through. Life changes.
Okay, so one final question, because I love what you just said. However, I've had clients, I do huge workshops or I speak in front of large crowds. One of the number one questions I get is exactly what you're talking about. I hate it when people say, just do it. I can't. I've got this health issue. I am broke. I'm in debt. I can't create my dream when I'm working 3 jobs to just pay my rent, and I'm a single parent. So how do people get out of when they're really in a situation where it seems so overwhelming and impossible?
The therapeutic end of that, on the counselor side of the desk, so to speak, is, okay, I want you to stop thinking about I can't. Now, the operational part, that action part, is where I'm going to say to you, let's talk about what you can do. Because what you said, or these are all my goals, or these are all these things I want, I can't do. Let's make a list of all the things you can do. Because what I want to do is I want to get them in action mode, one way or the other. It may not be about their goals and dreams, but it's just about getting in action. For example, I may say, I'm in the eastern part of the country. So now the weather's changing. And I look outside and say, okay, it's spring cleanup time. Do I want to go do that? I might say, no, it's going to be dirty. Or I might say, I'm just going to get out there and do a couple things today because I want the process to start. I want the action to start. Once the action starts, my brain's in a different place. It's just like when I write a book, I might say, I got to start doing the research. But once I start getting in there and I'm getting the research and the design, now everything flows. Now it's easy.
Absolutely. That's
Get
exactly
in action mode in any way you can. That's it.
Yes.
And your body and your mind will say, yeah, we're moving in a different direction. And if you keep it going, it will happen. And the thing is, some of those things you thought you couldn't do and you wanted, you might just get there because you didn't realize you were making those statements before you understood you in action. Understand you in action first, then decide what you can and cannot do.
Absolutely. When someone told me to start meditating, I thought, this is so dumb. I was doing it every day for 10 minutes, 5 minutes. My brain was going like this and that. And then I'm like, this is not doing anything. And then finally I got to the point where I could do it for 5 minutes. And I'm like, oh, wow, that's interesting. Then 10 minutes and 15, then now an hour. But I started seeing them one day, like 3 months into it, because I just said, I'm just not quitting because everyone says this is so great. So I'm not going to say the Dalai Lama is wrong. All big religions are wrong, so I'm wrong. So let me keep trying. And then one day I just went, oh my God, you don't even realize it because you're just living with yourself each day. But all of a sudden it's going, oh, that issue is gone. That issue is gone. Oh, I'm not feeling that anxiety about this. Oh, I actually was productive with that. You don't even realize the growth you're having because it's so minute every day, but it is cumulative where within a month or 2 or 3 months, you get there. You just have to love yourself enough and be there for yourself as if you were your loved one. You would do it for your child or for, the person you're in love with. But for ourselves, we just like, oh, I'm just not going to put in the work, or I'm tired, or I'm going to just eat something bad, but yet you wouldn't give it to your dog if it might get him sick, or your cat,
Right.
But you'll put it in your mouth because it's just me. Who cares? So it's like really teaching people, be there for yourself, like the oxygen mask. Then you could be there for so many people, and your life will work out.
It will. And I tell people, schedule it. If you just say, I'm going to do it, you're not going to do it.
Of
You know,
course.
if you think about it, you may get home from work, if you go to work, and you may come home and say, well, I do this. Oh, now I have time for my cell phone. And you've got it all programmed in there. Instead of doing that, schedule time for you to take on something new, whether it's meditation or exercise or reading or whatever you're going to do. Do something, but you put it on the schedule and you don't change.
Yes. If it's not on the schedule, it doesn't get done.
Correct.
So, yeah, I want to thank you so much for spending the time here with me. You're so engaging and your work is so remarkable. And I appreciate you being here. And I appreciate everyone listening. And I hope this was beneficial. I'm sure it was. And I will see you soon.
Sounds great. Thanks so much.
Thank you. I'm Lisa Haisha, creator of SoulBlazing. I hack how you can change the negative thoughts in your head that hold you back. I call them impostors. I introduce you to them, teach you how to befriend them, and co-create with them, releasing old negative narratives. As a keynote speaker at your next event, I'll help your team turn into master communicators with more camaraderie, which brings more efficiency and growth to your organization. So join me and make shift happen.